British quiz that we're going to do is going to be real interesting. Real interesting. Doc Afro, good to see you again. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
I am not bad, my dear. So you would have heard my introduction. I'm doing a British quiz today.
That's why I came up. I want to see if I can answer some British questions as an American. Let's see what we got here.
It's going to be a really good one. So as part of, I guess, humans at the moment, you know, some of us are on a decolonization journey and some others are still upholding that colonial bullshit. Mm-hmm. So as part of this quiz, we'll see where we lie in this. Because, of course, at the same time, we all are some of us are becoming very aware that there's a lot of propaganda when it comes to the British and the things that they apparently did for the world. And generally, the white Western Europeans also, of course, push the narrative that they did so many amazing things. They did a lot of bullshit.
I got a perfect picture for that. Hold on for a second. Hold on. Let me just give me a second. Let me go on to the green screen. Hold on. Let me bring that.
Tyler wants to know if he can phone a friend. The only thing you get rewarded here is just thumbs up from me. There's no prizes. Oh. We're all here to learn and we're all here to have a little bit of a laugh as well at the same time, at the expense of the English. Yeah.
That's like that's the reaction. That's the reaction. So yeah. Yep, that's the reaction. So
we're going to learn a lot of stuff today. We're going to debunk a lot of myths as well simultaneously. And as I said, I love giving the English a good bit of humiliation because they cannot take it. They are the weakest species. They always want to take the piss out of everybody else. They want to have all these jokes and they want to have their racism and they want to have their discrimination and they say it's banter. They say it's so funny. But as soon as we say something back, oh, the tears, oh, the tantrums, oh, the throwing the toys out of a pram like a baby. This is what they do. So it gives me great joy to watch them crash out. Kay, good to see you. Yes, so let me change the background to show you guys what today's topic is. It is quiz time for everybody. A quiz time. We're gonna do a quiz. We're gonna do a quiz. We're gonna do a quiz. So, guys, English people have achieved nothing. They hide behind an empire of theft, grape, murder, and paedophilia. This is true. And we're going to find out how they've managed to do it through this British quiz. And you see my background, guys? It's English people all getting rounded up by the police. Look at there with all the British flags and English flags. This was from the Unite the Kingdom rally. So all of these people with their one collective GCSE all together, look at them. If you look at the faces, look at all the faces. They're all kind of similar. It is, oh no, there's a lost sheep there. I think I see a brown person there. That's what happens sometimes. Some of us get a little bit lost and we get swept up in the crowd. So we need to go and rescue that one there, that one random brown face there. But generally, you see, they're all kind of similar because they are the white man of England. Because white men of England are feeling so discriminated against. They're feeling so discriminated against. They have so much bad stuff happening against them. Yes, Kruger, we came and took them their jobs and their women. So Doc Afro, let me tell you something. We had a guy a few weeks ago saying that black and brown people, we tooken London, we tooken Birmingham. He used the word tooken instead of the word taken. And this is very symbolic of the low education level that lives on the island of misery.
Oh yeah. My God. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, and he started off his speech by saying, "I'm not racist, but my sister's married a black man, and I don't want him in my family. He should go back to where he comes from."
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see if the American knows about British shit. Let's see.
They don't know anything. So we've got Dave in the chat right now. Okay, Dave in the chat. He says television, telephone, the web, the jet engine, steam engine, the theory of gravity. Dave, you need to stick around for this quiz because you're going to be educated on the truth and not propaganda, Dave. That's if you can handle it, because a lot of the time English people can't actually handle the real truth of their history.
So there's another.
And JJ thinks it's amazing that we're speaking English. Yeah, JJ. The thing is, a lot of us actually can speak multiple languages, but JJ, you only speak one language. And we only learn English because why? Your people forced it upon the world. You forced it while you were raping us and murdering us and spreading all your paedophilia. You were forcing the English language onto people. You didn't do it through cupcakes and handshakes. You did it through force. And what's so funny, JJ, is that we all speak better English than you. And we can spell better English than you. Say that again. Hello, Ariel. Nice to meet you on the panel. I haven't actually introduced you yet. Ariel, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. Tell me, where are you from, Ariel?
I'm from Devon in England.
Lovely jubbly. Okay, so I've never met you before. My name is Fox. Nice to meet you. And today we've got a British quiz. So if you're familiar with my content, or maybe you're not familiar with my content, I'm very truthful about British history, and I'm very truthful about English people.
I wanted to ask about the prompt.
Yes, I will. I'll get to that. No problem. I have woken up from the coma that is the brainwashing of Britain. I was born and raised in Britain. I'm 42 years old, and I started awakening out of this probably about 4 years ago now. So now I can talk truthfully about my experiences, and I can also shed light on the truth of history. So yes, you want to have some clarification on the prompt. We're actually going to get some clarification through the quiz I'm going to do. So the reason why the prompt is this, it says English people have achieved nothing. They hide behind an empire of theft, rape, murder, and paedophilia. So the reason why I say that is because a lot of the time on this platform, English people say, we created this, we did that, we did. And when I speak to an English person specifically, I will say, what have you achieved?
But you're talking about a group as a whole, right?
English people, yes. Ariel, am I going to get into an actual conversation with you about English grammar? Because this is what happens a lot of the time on this platform.
Well, it seems like you're talking about the whole group, right? Like the group of English people have achieved nothing.
English people are a tribe, sir. English people are a tribe, okay? So generally, English people, the civilians of England, have not achieved anything. They have been resting on the laurels of their empire. This is the conversation. It is the empire of theft and all these things listed below. And when you speak to an English person directly about what they've achieved, it's not much.
I feel like that's with most people, right?
So you said, I feel that's with most people. When you say things like that here, you have to bring some kind of facts and some kind of opinions of why you think that way. Because it's not an opinion from me. This is literally facts, and the quiz will show you. I'm going to do the quiz so you'll see the answers.
1 second.
Yep. Oh, are you going to go do some Googling? Probably, maybe. Paulie, good to see you. See, now the Scots have achieved loads. Yes, this is why, you know me, it's always about the English and the things that they've done. It's always about the English, guys. J. Rowe, good to see you. As an American, we agree you'll run the world still. Yeah. So, Ariel,
I don't know about that. I mean, I'm just...
But I wanted to ask, like, individually, like, if you look at, like, the world as a whole, right, like Western countries, including England, have like, higher skilled jobs, more people going to university because of like the wealth that these countries have. So I feel like if you're saying like
How did they
individually
get this wealth, Ariel? How did they get this wealth?
well, there's multiple reasons, but that's not really like, that's a non sequitur, right?
How did they get this wealth, Ariel?
How does this apply to the point?
Can I answer that question?
You said, Ariel, you said they had all this infrastructure and all these things. And I'm just asking you a follow-up question, Ariel. How did they get it?
But how does it apply to my point?
It very much applies to the
You
point.
can't answer a direct question.
So there's multiple reasons. You could put empire into that. You could put colonization into that. You could also put like the Industrial Revolution and like the
You see
resources
how,
within
yeah, so
Britain
you
itself.
kind of, you kind of said, you said some things there. You said some things there, but you were very reluctant to say the negative things there, Ariel. You were very reluctant
I felt
to
like
say
you'd
it.
go off
You
on a
got
tangent.
someone in the chat, Ariel, you got someone who's very pro-British, and straight away he said, we stole that shit. JJ, I'm talking about you. You see, when you have an actual person who is like really proud of colonization, they don't have any problem in admitting that they were a pirate,
I was
that they were
worried
a
you'd go off on a
barbarian.
non sequitur, which you did.
Huh?
I'd worried you'd go off on a non sequitur, which you did.
Asking you a follow-up question is a non sequitur.
I'm saying that it doesn't apply to the main
So
point.
I'm not
The main
allowed. So
point.
as the host of this platform, you find it very uncomfortable to be asked a follow-up question.
No, I was just worried you'd go off on a different topic that doesn't apply to what I was talking about.
Listen, man, you've never been here before. I'm very good at actually sticking to the topic because I run the panel. I run the host.
So my topic was,
Doc Afro-
you were
Doc
talking about
Afro
when you
has
talk
his
to
hand up.
individual people. You were
One
talking to
minute, Ariel already answered that question. So Doc Afro has his hand up. Doc Afro, what would you like to add?
What I would like to add is first, as far as the question, is that the British Museum that's in the background right there? I think it is.
Of where? Of whose?
The question, basically the picture that you have up. The
background?
Is that in the background, is that the British Museum that's right there?
No, that is when all these white Englishmen said they were going to take back their country, and the police rounded them up and arrested so many.
I'm talking about where it was, the building that's in the background, because I see the pedestal and whatnot.
Oh.
Is that the British Museum?
That's Trafalgar. I think that's Trafalgar. That looks like Nelson's column in the background. I think that's
okay. Because the reason why I say that is that, especially the JJ, when it comes down to it, British Museum is nothing more than your guys' thing of basically parading around the theft of everyone's culture from around the world, just to give you all a heads up. So the very fact of the matter that you cannot sit here and see the very real wrong things that essentially, I hate to say it, as far as British culture is concerned, is stealing people's culture. That tells you everything that you need to know. So are you prepared to have this conversation, Ariel? Because if you're not prepared to have this conversation on that type of level to understand the effects of systemic racism, then you're going to fail 110%. Every single time. Trust me on when I say this,
I just didn't see how
including
it's
JJ.
relevant to my point.
Because everything is very valid is extremely valid to that point, because you are upholding a system.
What was my point again? What was my point again?
Go ahead. Go ahead and say the point. Go ahead and say the point one more time.
No, what was my point? No.
Let's say the point again, because I refresh my memory. Ariel. I want you to say the point.
Okay. So when she said individually English people haven't achieved anything, she talked to specifically, I'm saying that most people you talk to, you'll find that, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm saying that actually, if you look on like a worldwide scale, there's a lot more poverty in other countries, there's a lot less education, there's a lot less higher paying jobs. And so as a result, you'll probably find gradually that doesn't apply to
Ariel, why?
That doesn't
Ariel,
apply to
why?
me. What? How
It
does that apply
You
to
see,
me?
apply to the
guys,
point.
Ariel doesn't have the ability to actually see the bigger picture. He makes one point, but he doesn't actually understand the point he's making and to why he's making these points. He can only go so far. I will ask him a follow-up question
You're just
and he will stop
misunderstanding
because
what
he
I mean.
knows what the answer is. He's ashamed
No,
to
because
admit
you'll
what
go
the
off on a
answer
tangent.
is.
Okay, so
You see,
I
he
have,
thinks it's a tangent. A tangent.
here's here's another thing
You
that I
see
want to
that?
go off.
This is the conversation. I'm asking questions that are relevant to what he said, not what I said, what he said. But straight away, he doesn't want to talk about it because he's too fucking fragile. Doc Afro.
So
Sorry, could you repeat
now
that?
you're
I
talking
had to
about
go for a second.
individuality.
I
When
said
you're talking
Doc
about
Afro. I
individuality,
didn't say Ariel. I said Doc Afro.
so when you're talking about individuality, especially when it comes down to the context of this thing right there, she is essentially saying is that the people that are in England are living off of what the country has done to other countries. They have not achieved anything themselves. Do you understand that concept right now? Because literally they are living off of everything that this particular system has done, and everything that they have gone off prioritizing YT people at the top, and they have done absolutely nothing.
I need to
So
go
they're
see.
living off of, guess what your guys' government has done. Do you understand that? Do you understand that concept now, or no?
He seems to have disappeared, so I don't know if the conversation was too much for
Hold on.
him
I
because
just want
he's
to
just
say
dropped
that's
down.
absolutely false.
And 1 minute, M4, I will bring you in because Ancestors has been waiting. Ancestors, welcome to the panel, Ancestors.
Greetings, sister. I've been watching your program from the back room most of the time, but today I love today's topic. Yes,
Yay,
I
thank you
love
for
the
coming.
topic. This is my topic. I love this. English people has not achieved nothing, 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 nothing. And I can expand. It's so much, but I'm not gonna go outside. One, what the brother was saying about you've got university, you create jobs, you've got this, you've got that. Hold on a minute. If you know your history, you would not be speaking like that. Secondly, everything in the museum is stolen artifacts. Everything. And if they were to hand them back, it would be walls. Right? Thirdly, does he know how Barclays Bank, Lloyd Bank, how they were created? Does he know about Dennis Lloyd? If you Google Dennis Lloyd right now, Barclays Bank, it will tell you how many Africans that man traffic from from Africa to Europe, England, America, the Caribbean, and it will tell you the billions of pounds he made, and he used it to open the bank. Lloyd Bank that many of us bank with. Barclays Bank the same. I remember Barclays Bank was in Jamaica and they booted it out when Malcolm Mandela came into power, the black prime minister, right? But now if you Google Barclays Bank, you won't find much on the internet because they remove it. But if you Google Lloyd Bank right now, if you will see there, it tells you. So hold on, how did they create these jobs? Thirdly, I saw a program the other day where it said the country with the most gold reserves. And the top 10 countries with the most gold reserves don't have a gold mine. And they were all European countries. England. Where is England gold mine? And they've got so many golds in their bunker. Where do you think they get it from? That is why any leaders in Africa that rise up to them, they want to analyze them and use to spread propaganda, like Ibrahim Traore and the other took Samita Gota and Tiani, right? So where do they get all this wealth from to create these jobs they're talking about in university? Where? It's stolen legacy. And if he was listening carefully, we've got 2 ears. We must use our brain. When the George Floyd issue happened, it tells you it was in 2016.
George Floyd raped a pregnant woman, by the way.
Don't talk over, don't talk.
I'm a trans mass bubble butt BLK dwarf.
Excuse me, all you people at the top, 1 minute. On my panel and on my live, we take it one at a time to speak. This is not an English run live where you can't behave yourself, where you don't respect people. Here, we talk one at a time. Everybody gets their chance, right? English people, you lot need to prove yourselves that you have the ability to wait
Oh,
and
I
can
was just
respect other
saying,
people.
you're blind to a
You see
pregnant
these
woman.
people? You see? Guys, you see this? You see this?
Yeah, I
They're
know,
getting
I
dropped
know.
immediately. English
Yes.
people cannot control themselves. They can't respect other people. They have no ability. They're too emotional. Everybody gets a chance on this panel, but these people have entitlement, so I drop them both. Ancestors, we're
Yes,
going to just
thank
wrap
you.
up what you have to say.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was when the George Floyd issue, then it came out, they were talking about slavery and what, what it done to England and da. And that's when a lot of people learn, which I did know, that during slavery, they pay the slaves owner compensation. And it was 2016, our UK black taxpayer money finished, paid off. The descendants of the enslaved and myself, who the descendants of the slave, didn't get anything, but the descendants of the slaves owner children get compensation. The final payment was until 2016. If you go to Brighton, all the house that built in Brighton along the sea, all of that was built by our ancestor. It was what Colston, when they toppled his statue in Liverpool. A lot of people know who are the statue were. So they've nothing. Everything is what our ancestor invented and built. Finally, I have a book. That's my book cover that I've written a book about African inventor, Caribbean inventor, African.
Wait, not yet. Ancestors, I'm going to stop you because
Okay.
I don't want you to give away any answers.
Okay.
Because
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, ancestors. I've got this British quiz coming up and we're doing a lot of debunking. So on that note, I'm going to move to just say hello.
Sorry.
Yes, okay. We're just going to say hello to Chief at the top there. Chief, my darling, good to see you. Chief Io, hello. Are you
Hello,
there, Chief?
you look fabulous. Hey,
Thank you,
I was like,
sister.
you look fab today. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. Things are well. You're okay, Krish?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Honest. If I start talking about English people, there will be day, night, sleepover, morning, their entitlement spirit. They don't respect anybody. They don't want to listen because the history is so ugly and so disgusting. I mean, it's going to pain me too, but at least if you want to debunk from, what your ancestors do, you start with listening and learning. But they feel so entitled, so disgustingly entitled to think, this, and they'll keep telling you, they always use that term. It's not every English people, it's not everybody. But when it comes to us, they put all of us in one basket and judge black people. But when it comes to them, they want to be dealt with individually. I'm like, listen, look in the mirror. You can't even take half of the shit forgive my French. You can't even, but sorry, I'm not sorry. You can't even take half of the bullshit you give to others. They don't know how to take it. Once you start the topic, they just start rumbling. But if it was my ancestor to do those things, listen, I would like to learn and just shut up. How do we do it right? But there's nothing right. In their mind, they'll complain that you're complaining about racism, but they'll want to do, but just don't talk about it. And I'm saying, you're doing the racist shit, but you don't want anybody to talk about it. Why? I don't even know what the kind of DNA that is. And another thing, I blame black people because we're too welcoming, we're too forgiving, we're too, we gaslight each other, we are not on each other's side. Once you start speaking about our issue, some black people want to, like all those coconut behavior. Oh, not all white people, but why is it always me? You want to judge me the same?
But also we have to, this is why I'm doing this British quiz. The colonization and the gaslighting and the manipulation goes so deep in every other race and culture on the planet. It's not our fault. Like, humanity is 300,000 years old, right? Yeah. So me and you, Chief, we've got descendants. Our bloodlines can trace back to the original human. There was not this kind of bullshit that was living on the planet before the Europeans came along 8,000 years ago, just 8,000 years ago. And then 1,500 years ago is when the British, or when the English more specifically, became the Anglo-Saxon tribe and turn into English people. They are the ones that spread this new shit that we had not seen before in history. We had not seen it. Therefore, that's why we were welcoming, because we were welcoming to everybody else. Everyone else was welcoming. Yes, there was conflict, but there was never to this scale. We were not prepared. We were not ready for English people. The world was not ready for English people, but now our generation is goddamn ready. We've woken up. We understand what we're dealing with now, and we're not doing that shit again.
When are we going to learn that thing that we fed that are biting us? You know, I mean, I love everybody, but you can't continuously teaching my children that their skin tone, which is black and beautiful, crack. Look at me. I'm an old lady, but you can't, no crack on me. I am too fabulous. Go to my pictures. You'll be like, whoa. In my next life, black, I tell my universe, I say, make me a black woman. So what the kind of insecurity that will make somebody want to tell you that you're pale and you're better than me, than what looks like me? I like, seriously, you know.
We know at the same time, Chief, what are they doing? They are tanning, they are darkening their skin,
you know what I mean?
They are using foundation that's like 10 shades darker. Right, guys, we're gonna start the quiz now.
Somebody down to make you look good. I find you very disgusting. You know, it's a disgusting kind of behavior.
Okay, thank you, Chief. I'm just gonna mute you for a minute. Okay, so thank you so much so far to the wonderful contributors to the panel. So everybody on the panel right now, let us go to what we're actually here to talk about, right? It's a British quiz. So the prompt is as follows. English people have achieved nothing. They hide behind an empire of theft, rape, murder, and paedophilia. And we know this to be true. English people don't seem to know this to be true. And with the quiz that we're going to do right now, you're going to be taught some actual truths, because the problem is that you lot believe bullshit propaganda. Too much propaganda. And the most frustrating thing, I think, now in 2026 is that you're so ignorant at the same time and you're not willing to learn anything new. I don't give a shit if any of you here don't want to learn anything new. The fact is, we want to learn stuff new. And anyone else who's English up here on the panel, you can stay up here, you can crash out, you can listen, you can learn, you can talk shit, whatever you want to do. I don't fucking care. I literally don't care. We're doing a quiz today. And you do what you want to do. The rest of us are going to do what we're going to do, right? So this is question 1. Everybody get ready for question 1. And as a treat, I've got videos as well as part of this at the same time. So you're going to be learning through audio and also through visual. So yes, Jay, grab a snack, grab a drink, get yourself comfortable. So I'm going to ask the questions so you guys in the chat can answer, and also you guys on the panel as well can also give the answer. So Honeybee, good to see you. So yeah, just pop the answers in the chat section, and everybody on the panel can also be answered, and I will go to you one at a time to answer. English people on the panel, let's see if you have the ability to answer a direct question, because I know I find this difficult. Who's unmuted? So let's just mute you up there. Right, okay, so question 1, guys, ready? Question 1. What is the ethnicity of the richest family in the UK? Answers in the chat, please, guys. What is the ethnicity of the richest family in the UK? Give the answers below, guys. What is the ethnicity? Nigerian, German. White is not an ethnicity. Adams. Jewish is not an ethnicity, not a recognized one. Indians. Middle East is not an ethnicity. Tyler says reptile. German. White, no idea. White is not a race. It's not an ethnicity, sorry. Samira, Arab is also not an ethnicity. Countries, we're talking about where countries come from, where people come from, the ethnicity. What is the ethnicity of the people? So Arabic is not an ethnicity. Like, talk about which country. Like, where would they be from? What answers?
Isn't
Okay,
it
we're going to go
French
to
or
Dr.
Scandinavian?
Afro. You think
Isn't it like
Scandinavian?
French
Which
or
country?
I want to say French because it's like from Normandy. Because I do recall like I forgot
Okay,
which war it was.
I don't need all the fact bit. Just give me one country because we've got a lot of people.
French.
It's so
I'm going to say French because of the royal family.
Okay, thank you so much. Next person we got is ancestors. What is your answer, ancestors? Just give me one country, please. Ancestors on the panel, what's your answer? Ancestors. Nigeria, thank you so much. Okay, mute yourself, please. Chief, what is your answer? Chief, on the panel, my darling, you can unmute. What's your answer, please? Are you there? No? Okay, we're going to go to Holly J. Holly J, welcome to the panel. What is the ethnicity of
Nigeria. Listen, I've got up Nigeria.
Nigeria. Okay, thank you so much. Holly 1, welcome to the panel. What is your answer, please?
Thank you. India.
Indian. Thank you so much. We've got Neil next. What is your answer, please?
Okay, proviso, I have no clue, but my guess is like the Duke of whatever who owns all London. So Norman.
What?
Is it Duke of Marlborough?
What ethnicity?
British.
What is the ethnicity?
British, does that count? But Norman British, so...
English.
Yeah, English.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Mute. Okay, Jan, your turn. What is the ethnicity of the richest family in the UK, please, Jan?
Gopi Hinduja from India.
India. Thank you so much, Jan. Next person, we've got user 37. What is your answer, please?
I don't know, but presumably not English.
Okay, give us an answer. What? So you think any other race, any other ethnicity except for English?
Jewish.
Okay. Right, next person, we've got Adam. You already give an answer in the chat, but can you repeat it, please? What's your answer? Your ethnicity?
Yeah, I think badly is Israel. I think Israeli.
Israeli. Okay, thank you so much. You see, guys, like you can say Israeli. So the ethnicity of the richest family in the UK is Indian. It is somebody did give the answer in the chat. You probably cheated with Google. It is the Gopi Hinduja family, and they're worth £35.3 billion. They actually have a background in industry and finance. So this is a follow-up question real quick. In the top 20 richest families in the UK, how many of them are actually like English, Scottish, Welsh, or Irish? How many out of 20? Give me a number. Give me a number. Anyone could shout out on the panel what number out of 20?
I would say at least half, just a wild guess.
I'm going to say 1
10, we've
or
got
2.
10 on the panel. What else?
I'm going to say 1 or 2.
1 or 2.
I'm going to say
15, 2.
I would say.
Okay, we have various answers there. So
4, I
the
reckon.
answer is actually 6 out of 20. 6 out of 20. And all 6 of them are English. So there are no Scottish, no Welsh, no Irish on that top 20 list. Okay, so in terms of the richest people in the UK, in the top 20, 14 of them are from, they're American-born Canadians, they're Baghdadi Jewish, there's a few Russians in there, Israeli, Indian, Norwegian-born Cypriots, French and Swedish. So English people, you can't even be rich in your own country. You're talking about, yeah, we did this, we did that, we did that. You're not even in your own rich list. You're not even
This
in
is
your
just
own
why we need
rich list.
remigration. Just kick them out.
You sound like
So you need remigration to give yourself a chance because you suck.
No, you know, Fox slavery and we colonised the third.
Yeah, that's why. So you need to get all of the immigrants out of your country because you're not good enough.
Fuck, you're stupid.
20 million will go.
Fox, who says things like that though?
Says things like what?
That's kind of an odd thing to say.
Do you know if they kick all the English people in New Zealand, Australia, Nigeria, South Africa, you're stuck in the whole world. You're a minority. Listen, I don't want to swear at you. If they kick all of you out of the world, you have nowhere to go. You'll be burnt because sun doesn't even like you. You constantly threatening about kicking people out, but you don't even. I think you are always missing your history classes. You should look in the mirror and I should be ashamed of all of you. I don't know who raised all of you. You're constantly threatening people to kicking them out. If they kick you out in Nigeria, my mom is from South Africa where you went and claimed Australia because you don't even know half of your history. New Zealand, America, you have nowhere to go, bitches. You have nowhere. And I don't know why you keep missing your history class. Shut up and listen. Shut up.
Oh, okay. Just 1 minute, Chief, just calm down a little bit, Chief. I know it's easy to get kind of heated with this stuff, but we like to keep it kind of semi-calm. And also we don't want the live to shut down either. So I am going to move to the next question now. Thank you so much. Take a little bit of a breather there, Chief, please. Just take a breath. We love you. I love you. You're great. Just start box breathing. Just relax. Next question now, guys. So everybody, next question. Question 2. Which demographic of children have the lowest GCSE grades?
Wow.
Which demographic of children? Okay, so guys, answers in the chat. I'm sure you must have seen this, right? You must have seen it in the news. Which demographic of children have the lowest GCSE grades? Which ones?
Colored people.
Doc Afro. So for anybody who's not English or not British, let me explain to you what the GCSEs. They're from GCSEs age 16 exams. So whatever that is equivalently, maybe in your countries.
Oh, I know what they are.
So this is the exams that you take before you go into college. So what is the lowest demographic that have the lowest
English
grade? So which is the poorest performance? English,
colored people.
Yeah, white people. Chief, what's your answer? Chief, are you there? Okay, maybe she's still breathing. Holly J, what is your answer, please?
You know when you say demographic, what do you actually mean?
Demographic is the word demographic. That's what demographic means. It means group, which ethnic group, which group of people, boys, girls.
Yeah, white people.
White people, okay. Neil, you've got your answer. What's your answer, please, Neil?
I think white British.
Thank you so much. Jan, what is your answer, please?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I don't have a guess on that.
Okay, thank you so much. User 119, what is your answer, please?
I think I'd say British.
British. Everybody in England is Britain is British.
White British.
Everyone's British.
White British.
White British.
Yeah.
White British. Okay, thank you so much. We got Michael the Sage. Michael the Sage, disclaimer on you, Michael the Sage. I'm very aware of you, Michael the Sage, that you seem to be a double agent, Michael. You are up here preaching about black supremacy the other day, but you've also been saying some anti-Islam, you've been Islamophobic. You've also been saying some other shit, Michael the Sage. So don't think that you can come here and try some shit and think that, we're not going to know who you are. I've let you up on the panel just so I can say the shit about you right now. Yeah, exactly. Nothing to say, Michael. Nothing to say, Michael. You cannot, Michael, come here and be one thing and go to another panel and other places and speak to people in their private messages and be a shit person. You can't do it. You think that we don't talk to each other around here? Did you think that you were going to come back here and kiss my ass as well? Did you think you were going to be able to do that?
I didn't think anything. I don't know anything about
you. Yeah, you should think. You've been dropped. You should think more. Think more. Think more. Right, okay, guys, let me give you the answer. The answer is white working class boys. That's actually what I was getting at. So yes, a lot of you guys did say white. It's the white working class boys, guys. And actually, do you know what? I didn't give you guys the video. I've got all these videos up here that I was actually going to show you because I want to actually educate you guys properly. So let me give you the video from the previous answer. Okay, let me give you the video. Let me just turn the camera around. So this is about the richest family. Okay, flip the camera. There we go. Right. So hold on. Let me wipe this because it looks a bit unclean. Right, there we go. So guys, this is about the richest Indian family. Check this out.
This Indian guy went from trading onions and potatoes to becoming the richest person in the UK, worth more than $48 billion. Gopi Chand Hinduja was born in 1940 in India and joined the family business at 19 after graduating from college. In the early days, Gopi and his brothers started by selling basic commodities like onions, potatoes, and iron ore from India to Iran. They stuck to common sense business practices, even if they struggled to expand internationally. A turning point came in the 80s when they acquired major companies like Ashok Leyland and Gulf Oil to become a true multinational conglomerate. Gopi played a key role in diversifying the group's interests across multiple sectors like automotive, oil, and banking. Today, the Hinduja Group employs over 150,000 people across offices around the world. Gopi himself is estimated to have a net worth above $48 billion, making him the wealthiest person in the UK as of 2024. He continues to actively lead the group well into his 80s and remains committed to his father's principles of philanthropy and work to give. This Indian guy went...
Okay, so that's what you've learned about the richest Indian guy. And this is some information about the white working class boys.
A quarter of children are actually turning up at school in the reception year still in nappies. About a third can't hold a pencil. Many of them don't know how to dress themselves, use a knife and fork. Teachers say they're spending a huge amount of time just teaching kids those basic skills. There's been a real issue that the government's worried about with white working class children not doing as well as other groups at school. And actually what's interesting in the data is we can see that emerging even before school. Fewer than half of white working class kids arrive at school with a good level of development. That compares to 3/4 of richer white kids. Those very first years of life have a huge impact on what happens to those children later. Children who have a poor level of development at 5 are much more likely to be not in education, employment or training when they're 18, 19, 20. There's a correlation also between that low level of development in childhood and criminality later on. I think there are lots of different factors, and I've spoken to lots of experts about what's driving this. One of them is the cost of living crisis, that parents who are working 2-3 jobs just don't have time to spend with their children. That early connection between adult and child is absolutely crucial to the social and emotional development of a child. There's also an issue with the amount of time that people are spending on screens. Children, rather than interacting with a human being, are staring at a screen. But also you've got parents who are looking at their screens too. If both of them are staring at their screens, you just don't get that interaction. It's a kind of new form of modern neglect. I spoke to the education minister in Estonia, where they had the best educational outcomes in Europe, and she said the secret of their success was the amount of money and time and effort they put into their kindergartens, where they make sure that children have those basic social, emotional and developmental skills. If there is a sort of proper quality early years education delivered by the state, then that does make a difference. That can really transform those educational outcomes.
So you see, guys, one thing, of course, that they also did not seem to address in that video is that we know that very much it is cultural as well, because using the screens as an excuse is a very new thing. We are very aware as black and brown people that we had our asses kicked by our parents. We had no choice but to get our asses to school and get educated. Whereas English people and white people in Britain, they could afford to muck around. They could afford to be silly because they had their privilege that they didn't realize that they actually had. We're very aware that they spent a lot of time at the pubs. And which demographic of parents were complaining the most during COVID that they had to look after their own children? It was white people. It was English people. I can't wait for the schools to go back. I can't wait to get the kids out of the house. Other families, they were doing so much with them. So much with them. But the English families, they couldn't wait, because guess what? The schools, they treated them as babysitters. They don't think, English parents don't think that they have a responsibility to educate their children and to bring up their children properly. They don't do it. They don't do it. And so they have to blame, someone in the chat was like, blame the government. English people, hear this and hear this very clearly. We are all working class in the UK. We are all working class. Immigrants, descendants of immigrants, we came in as working class. We came in as the same as you, lower than you. And yet we managed to excel in the same system. But it's the government's fault. It's the government's fault. No, it is cultural. It is cultural. So stop blaming others and pull your socks up, as you lot say. Pull your socks up and get your shit together. If you want to have a better future for yourself, for your family, for your kids, pull your goddamn socks up, because it ain't the immigrants' fault why you're so bad. It's nothing to do with us. It is you. Take responsibility for yourselves. Right, next question, guys. Question 3. So we had somebody else earlier saying, English invented all this, blah, 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 blah. So guys, who invented the steam engine, right? Who do you think, if you don't know the name of the person who invented the steam engine, maybe give the ethnicity or the country that they're from? Who invented the steam engine? Doc Afro, what's your answer?
I know he's black, and I want to say he's a black American, but that's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chief Io. You got an answer? Who invented? So I'm talking about in history, the first instance of the steam engine. Chief Io. Hello, darling. Are you there? Okay, we'll move on to Holly J. Holly J, please. Who invented the first steam engine, Holly J? The person or the ethnic group, nationality? Holly.
I hear you. I don't know. This is a mad rage baiting thing, but I think his name is Thomas. That's where Thomas the Tank Engine come from.
What's rage baiting about asking a question about an original inventor? What, are you angry about it?
No, I'm not. Are
you angry?
No, not at all.
You said it's rage bait. You said it's rage bait, so it means that you're upset.
I'm not upset. People are getting upset, but I'm not upset.
Well, then why did you call it rage bait, Holly? Why would you ask the question to be
I'll just explain that to you.
How did you explain it? You didn't. You said Thomas. You said Thomas the Tank Engine.
I said, I think his name's Thomas. That's where Thomas the Tank Engine comes from. But I believe you're rage baiting because you're making a few people angry. But I'm not upset. You crack on, honey.
So I'm making a few people angry, and no one else has mentioned being angry except for you, Holly. So you are low-key angry. You're low-key angry, Holly. You might not have recognised it, but you obviously are low-key angry. Look after yourself there, Holly. Look after yourself. Neil, next question to you. Who invented the original steam engine, Neil?
I don't know, but I know the train. I was taught the train was Stephenson's rocket. So
did I ask about trains? Or
I know. I don't know. I don't know the steam and the steam. I don't know.
Did I ask about trains?
Thank you, Neil. Jan, we'll go to you. What do you think your answer is, Jan?
The first practical steam engine was invented by Thomas Newcomen or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
And where was he from?
Pretty sure he was English.
Thank you, Jan. Okay, user 119. What's your answer, please? Who invented the original steam engine, the first steam engine?
I think someone of African descent. I'm not sure if they're British or American.
You went all the way around the world there, love.
No, I said someone from African, like a black British or American. But I'm not too sure.
Thank you so much. Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. Brown-eyed Cypriot girl.
Hello.
How are you, darling?
Very well. Mate, the Thomas the Tank Engine had me. Oh, can't cope. That was so funny. Oh dear.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was.
You do know where that comes from, though.
Listen, we're answering the questions, please. Brown-eyed Cypriot gal, what is your answer, please?
I'm going to guess an African American.
African American. Thank you so much. Okay, we've got a new person on the panel up there. Blake Champion, welcome to the panel. Who invented the original steam engine, please, Blake?
James
Do you have
Watt.
an answer? Or
Yeah, James Watt. James Watt.
James Watt. James Watt. And where is he from?
Europe. I don't know where in Europe, but I know it was Europe. I think it was England.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, guys, so we had various different answers. We've got African American as well in the chat. We had a lot of people guessing black. We had some names up there, James Watt, Thomas Savery. So, guys, the original inventor is actually a guy called Hero from Alexandria, 1 AD Greece. And it was called the Aleopile. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I always keep getting a bit tongue twisted. Some of you guys think it was Thomas Savery of 1698, who was actually English, but the original goes back to 1 AD. And I'm going to play a video for you now so you can learn again here. So the original steam engine. So you guys are obviously thinking about the British steam engine. But the problem with British people is that you never credit your originals, ever. So here we go. You're going to learn something now.
Most people believe that Thomas Savery was the one who invented the steam engine. It's powered trains, machines, even a whole revolution. But is that really the truth? What if I told you that the steam engine goes all the way back to ancient Greece? What if I told you it was invented by a hero? The hero of Alexandria, yes, that's his name, was a Greek mathematician and inventor. He invented the eolipile, a machine that sends steam through angled pipes when you heat water in the bowl underneath it. The pipes point in different directions, so steam blowing out of them causes the wheel to spin. But this machine was just made for display. The first steam engine made for practical use was invented by, not Thomas Savery. Geronimo de Ayans was a Spanish man who had a problem. Spain's mines were flooding. He needed a machine that could pump water out of the mines and let the miners keep working. So in 1606, he submitted a patent for the first steam-powered machine that could remove water from the mines. This means that Thomas Savery was inspired by Ayans, right? Wrong. Denis Papin was a French physicist who's credited with inventing the steam cooker. His invention, the steam digester, gave him ideas on how to create a cylinder and pistol steam engine. But they stayed ideas. It was Thomas Savery who took the concept and physics Papin thought of and turned them into a real machine. He used 2 steam boilers to make an engine that could continuously pump water out of mines. More and more scientists improved on his design, until the humble steam engine became powerful enough to start a revolution, the Industrial Revolution. Did you know about Thomas Savery's predecessors? What other secrets of the steam engine do you know about?
So you see, guys, it's important to think about where things come from, because a lot of the time, everyone, well, especially English people, think that they created things all out of their own minds with no help beforehand. Exactly. Thank you, Ranley. Most so-called inventions are just people slowly adding or improving to existing things. That's what inventions are. But the problem with the British and the English is they think that they are the original creators of everything. They think that nothing came beforehand. Everything that they pretty much came with already existed. It already existed. So we have to be able to credit people who came beforehand. And the problem with a lot of this stuff is the patents. Because a lot of the stuff that's actually been created was being developed around the same times around the world in various different countries, but it was a race to get the patents. And so whoever got the patent was credited for whatever the invention was. Doesn't necessarily mean that they were inventor of it. No. And a lot of the time we also see that people were working together in groups, but of course it was the person who could afford the patent. So for example, if I had all of you guys as my employees, and I'm sure you all have jobs, right? Your boss will take credit for all of the stuff that you came up with. I put my name on that and I won't even credit you lot. I won't even credit you lot because that's how it works for the English and for British descendants. They take credit for your shit and for other people's shit too. So that's how you learnt some stuff there, right? You learnt a few people that actually invented the steam engine before the patent was put in by Thomas Savery. Okay, so question 4. Who invented the light bulbs that actually work? Even though this is not British, the answer you probably come up with, he of course is a British descendant, I think. No, hold on, he's not even British. I threw this one in here. So who invented the light bulb that actually works? The one that you guys use every day? Who invented it, guys? Who invented it? Okay,
I
Doc
know
Afro.
most. It's not. I can tell you this much, right? It's definitely not Thomas Edison, the person who invented like the filament, the stuff that was in there that created the light bulb. I done forgot his name, but I can tell you this much right now. That is a black man. I can tell you that much right now. I done forgot his damn name, but it sure as crap ain't Thomas Edison.
Thank you, Doc Afro. Okay, Chief, are you back yet? Chief, are you back or not back? Don't know if she's here or not here. I'm going to free up some space. I don't think she's here, so I'm going to just drop.
I'm here.
You're back. Lovely. Okay, so what's your answer, please? Who invented the light bulbs that actually work?
Oh, is it a black lady or a black woman? Whichever. But it's a black person that invented.
It's a black person. Guys, you need to learn the names of the black people, because all of you guys going, it's a black person, it's someone from Africa. You need to learn the names. Ancestors, I think Ancestors is gone. Ancestors had a book on black inventors, so you guys need to learn some things. Holly J, who is the inventor of the light bulb that actually worked?
But unfortunately,
Oh, I got the answer for you. I got the answer for you, sis. I know his name.
I said Holly. I said Holly. It's Holly's turn. Holly, what is your answer, please?
It's cool. I know you said you want to free up some space, so you can drop me, darling.
You can drop yourself.
I can, but I thought you said you wanted to free up some space.
No, I don't need to. It's because Chief wasn't here, so I was going to drop her. But she's here.
So are we talking about the actual light bulb or the filament, or are we actually talking about the individual aspects? Like, what's the question?
Who invented the light bulbs that actually work?
Lewis Howard.
The ones that you use today?
Lewis Howard.
Lewis Howard. Thank you so much. I think you looked at the answer in the chat. Neil, what is your answer, please? Do you have an answer?
Well, I know he was dodgy as anything. Edison is what I was taught. So, but he was known for nicking stuff, wasn't he? So, Edison, that's all I know.
Okay, thank you so much. Jan, do you have an answer for us, please?
I'm not sure, but I'm going to assume from off this panel, he's not English.
Okay, so you don't have any other answer? Any guesses?
I'm not sure. The whole point of this live is to show that English people have achieved nothing. So I'm going to assume it's not an English person, because that's how you, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, well, you're right. But it's not, of course, the exact answer. Okay, user 119, do you have an answer for us, please? Do you know who invented the light bulbs that actually work?
I actually don't know. I don't have a clue.
Okay, thank you so much. No problem. Brown-eyed Cypriot gal, do you have an answer for us?
I don't know the name, but I'm going to guess again an African American.
Okay, thank you so much, Brown-eyed Cypriot gal. No. Okay, Blake at the top, have you got an answer for us, please?
Multiple people that led to the invention of the light bulb.
Do you have any specifics?
No, because multiple people led to the invention, so a lot of people than just one person.
Okay, I'm talking about the light bulb that we actually use today.
Yeah, multiple people.
Okay, thank you so much for your vague answer. Really appreciate it. Multiple people. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to give you the answer, guys, which some of you guys kind of knew, but you didn't know his name. It is not Thomas Edison, as some of you guys also know. It's not Thomas Edison. It is Lewis Latimer. That's his name. Yes, the middle name is Howard. His name is Lewis Latimer. And so here we go. We're going to give you a little bit of a video now to show you a little bit more about his inventions, because he did several different inventions. So let me flip the camera. Here we go. Okay, so.
You've heard of Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell, but the man who made both of their inventions actually work. That was Lewis Howard Latimer. Born in 1848 to formerly enslaved parents, Latimer had no formal education but a brilliant mind. He taught himself mechanical drawing while working as an office boy at a patent firm. Within months, he became their top draftsman. When Alexander Graham Bell was racing to file his patent for the telephone, it was Latimer who drafted the diagrams, helping Bell beat his competitors to the patent office by just hours. Later, while working for Edison, Latimer invented a carbon filament that made the light bulb last longer and burn brighter. Without his innovation, Edison's bulb would have stayed a short-lived novelty. But Latimer didn't stop there. He patented a water closet system for railroad cars, improved air conditioning, and wrote one of the first guides on electric lighting installation used by engineers for decades. He was more than an inventor, he was the light behind the light bulb. So the next time someone says Edison lit the world, remind them, he had help from Lewis Latimer. If this story opened your eyes, like, share, and follow to uncover more hidden black pioneers who built the modern world. You've heard.
So you see, guys, and the fact that Blake, you said multiple people. Thomas Edison had a group of people who worked for him, and Lewis Latimer was one of them. He had masses of people. Thomas Edison didn't really actually create anything. Not really, as far as I can read. He was constantly taking credit for other people's ideas and inventions. He had a lot of people around him. That's unfortunately.
I actually have this picture up right now.
Can I say something real quick, if that's okay?
Yes, Jan.
So I understand, like, the whole point of this is to, say that you're trying to get across that English people have clearly not achieved a lot of these certain inventions. And I mean, obviously, yeah, they're not English, but at the same time, it's kind of inhonest to say that they haven't achieved anything at all, because experiencing injustice under British rule doesn't logically mean that Britain contributed nothing to humanity. I feel like it's driven more by emotion than a balanced view of history. I'm not going to say they haven't done anything wrong, but at the same time, I'm not going to say they haven't achieved anything. There's two extremes to this, you know what I mean? And that's just not helpful.
Let me explain what this topic is. Maybe you weren't here while I actually said what this topic actually means. English people are the citizens of England. And if you can read that part underneath, it says they hide behind an empire of theft, rape, murder, and paedophilia, which is true. English people themselves have not achieved as much as you would think that they should achieve. It is the sixth richest country. They talk about being educated, but what has this quiz showed you so far? That a lot of the things that they come up with, that they pretend that they've created, other people have created beforehand, and the people themselves say, we did this, we created that. But again, as I say, if you ask an English person directly what they've achieved, it's what is it? What have they achieved? What have they done? What have they done individually, what have they done individually?
I mean, I'm not from England.
You're not English. Yeah, exactly. You're not English. So I'm more than happy to have an English person come up here and tell me about all the things that they've done and all the things that they've achieved. The English person could come up here and tell us about all the qualifications that you've got, all of the businesses that you created, all of the charities that you started running. Tell us all about it, because you keep talking about how much you've achieved everything, but I'm telling you, English people, that none of your ideas are original as a creation. All the things that you created are not original. So stop hiding behind the lie and start actually achieving things for yourself. Because I can see you, English people, for who you are. I can see you. You can't hide behind all these stolen ideas no more. You can't do it. Okay, so we got next question, guys.
Not every English.
Next question. We've got next question. Next question. I've just said. So, guys, who invented the telephone? Who was the first person to actually invent the telephone? Doc Afro.
Oh,
What is your
that's
answer?
going to be another one for Lewis. I want to say Lewis Latimer again because, like I said, yeah, another thing from Lewis Latimer. But yeah, I could be wrong, though.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, Chief IO, do you have an answer? Who invented the first telephone? Chief, I am going to disconnect you because you're a little bit slow on the uptake, and we do have other people who want to come up as well. So we're going to let up Adam. I think Adam has been waiting. Holly J, have you got an answer, please? Who invented the first telephone?
Alicia Gray.
Sorry?
Alicia
What's that?
Gray.
Alicia Gray. Okay. Neil, have you got an answer for us, please? Who invented the first telephone?
Well, I thought it was Alexander Graham Bell, but after your video, I'm thinking they might have robbed it off Mr. Latimer.
Thank you so much, Neil. Okay, next person, user 119. Have you got an answer for us, please?
Again, honestly, I'm not too sure.
Not too sure. Okay, thank you so much. Brown-eyed Cypriot gal, have you got an answer for us?
I know this one. It is, I think it's an Italian, and oh my God, his name is Meucci or something like that. But I think it's an Italian.
Okay, thank you so much, Brown-eyed Cypriot gal. We've got always right.
Yeah,
Always right. Do you have an answer?
I'd like to say that one thing English people have achieved is to make people like you speak the English language. There you go. Thank you. Goodbye.
So you see how he doesn't even have the ability to answer the question? English people have achieved nothing, right? We have an English person who's just come up and just been like, you speak English.
Wait, could I say something to him real quick? Let me say something to him real quick. Hold on.
He so desperately needed to come up onto the panel, right? He so desperately needed to come up and say that. He didn't need to be blocked. He didn't offend me, guys. You didn't need to block him. He didn't say anything racist or anything like that. You didn't need to block him. Mods, you didn't need to do that. That was just funny. That was just funny. Okay, who's the next person? Hugh, who invented the telephone, Hugh? Hello.
The telephone's a weird one, though, because the first person who contributed to the invention of the telephone was Antonio M., who, like the person said, was an Italian. But there was that debacle on the day of patenting, wasn't there? Because Bell, which is where we got the term "give me a bell," patented it the same day as a woman did, and she was called Alicia Gray. So no one really knows who invented the telephone, but Antonio can be credited for his foundations in that invention.
Thank you so much, Hugh. Okay, guys, so you had some varying different answers. So yes, the first telephone was not created by Alexander Graham Bell. It was by Antonio Meucci, as some of you guys actually did mention his name. So let's show you the video to how it actually came about and why there was so much conflict around the same time, because that was actually true. So here we go. This is the forgotten inventor.
Most people think the telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell, but buried deep in the archives of American history is the story of an Italian immigrant who did it first and lost everything. His name was Antonio Meucci, a poor genius from Florence who came to America in the 1850s with one dream: to create a machine that could carry a human voice through wires. Working out of a tiny workshop on Staten Island, Meucci built the first voice-transmitting device years before Bell ever filed a patent. His wife was chronically ill, and he invented it so she could call him from her bedroom when she needed help. That was his heart, his purpose, his genius. But tragedy followed him. When he went to submit his invention, he didn't have the money for a full patent, only a temporary one called a caveat. He scraped together the little he had, but year by year, he couldn't afford to renew it. When he brought his working models to the Western Union office, hoping they'd back him, the company lost his prototypes. They mysteriously disappeared. Not long after, Alexander Graham Bell, working in the same building, filed a full patent for an invention remarkably similar to Mucci's. Mucci tried to fight it. He took his case to court, but he was out of money, out of health, and out of time. When he died in 1889, he died believing the world would never know the truth. It took over 100 years for Congress to finally recognize him. In 2002, the United States officially declared that Antonio Mucci, an Italian immigrant, a poor man with a sick wife, deserved the credit as the real inventor of the telephone. How many more immigrant stories were lost simply because someone didn't have the money or power to protect their ideas? Like and follow for more Italian American stories.
So you see, again, guys, this was a big, big problem. Having this patents, as I mentioned earlier, meant that if you had the paperwork to say that you invented something, then you became the inventor, but you weren't necessarily the person who came up with the idea. And of course, there is the implication there that it was stolen by Alexander Graham Bell. How is it that Italian Mr. Mucci brought his designs to this office and they mysteriously disappeared? But all of a sudden, Alexander Graham Bell took the credit. And also, at the same time, there was bribery. I actually did have another link discussing this, actually, that there seemed to be a lot of bribery going on. And again, because Alexander Graham Bell had the money, he was able to get himself across the line before Antonio Mucci. However, Antonio Mucci has actually been credited, I think it was in 2015, he's actually been credited by the US government of being the actual creator of the telephone. You guys can look him up. Look up the actual facts now. So please do not repeat that Alexander Graham Bell is the creator of the telephone. It is not true. Antonio Mucci is the creator of the telephone. It's always good to have some good history, some accurate history, and not stolen propaganda. Okay, so next question. Sorry, Hugh?
Big up Antonio.
Big up Antonio, yes. Okay, next question. Who invented concrete? So, English people like to say that they invented concrete, but do you guys have any ideas about who actually created concrete? Who actually created it? If you don't know the people, talk about where it maybe would have come from in history. The first instances of where concrete was actually seen. Have any ideas in history? Doc Afro, do you have any ideas?
I want to say Eastern Africa, like the Horn. That's where I want to say it's at. I think that's I'll go with that, Eastern Africa.
Thank you so much. Okay, Holly J. First instances of where we saw some concrete, please.
Roman road, so I'd say the Romans.
The Romans, thank you so much. Neil, next person. What's your answer, please?
Yeah, I thought the Romans too.
Okay, thank you so much. Brown-eyed Cypriot gal?
I think it's way before the Romans, and I'm probably thinking it's either Egyptians or somewhere in the middle, or the Middle Eastern, like close to Egypt, like, I don't know, like say Syria or something like that. So it's a toss up between the two. I don't know.
Thank you so much. Okay, next person, Hugh. Who invented concrete? Like, how far does it go back?
Concrete as a concept goes back many, many years. The Romans, I believe, were the first to use concrete in a more like form that we recognise today. They didn't use it for their roads though, they used it for their buildings. But concrete that we know as of like today, the like stuff that seizes up on its own, was early 1800s, I believe.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, James, we've got James on the panel. Welcome to the panel, James. Let's see what you've got to say today, James. Who invented concrete, James?
Well, it was probably either the Greeks or the Romans, since that's where most ancient empires stem from.
Okay, thank you so much. Right, okay, so guys, I kind of like not tricked you a little bit there, but I want to educate you at the same time. So concrete and cement are not the same thing. Okay. Concrete and cement are not the same thing. Concrete is cement, water, and aggregates, whereas cement is a powdered bonding agent by itself. And what English people do is they try to say that they created cement, but you can't create something which is a powdered bonding and by itself. You can't do that. The first instances of cement actually go back 12,000 years ago. The earliest archaeological discovery of consolidated whitewash floor made from burned limestone and clay was found in modern day Turkey. That's where cement goes back to. But the first concrete mixture was actually 6,500 BC in ancient Arabia. So it goes right back to Arabic countries. And then after that, it was the ancient Egyptians. They developed early methods for building materials such as lime mortar and building the Great Pyramids. That was in 3000 BC. In 300 BC, that's when the Romans began using concrete instead of including the use of aggregates to help build long-lasting structures. So that is like thousands of years later that the Romans started using concrete and stuff. So guys, you need to go back further than the Romans. And then you've got somebody called John Smeaton, who's an English guy in 1756, who creates the first of what we now know as modern concrete using hydraulic cement. But what I think you were thinking of, Hugh, there is actually in 1824, the 1800s, Joseph Aspin patents his Portland cement. So when people think that an English guy created cement, they're thinking of Joseph Aspin because what? He got the patent for it. And so what he did actually was nothing new. He did nothing new. What cement is, as I mentioned, it is limestone and clay, which was already done 12,000 years ago in Turkey. But what Joseph did is he actually took limestone from Dorset and he burned it with clay to form a slightly stronger cement than the previous creation. Okay, so that's all he did. And like somebody said earlier, is all these inventions now were just a little bit more improved.
You do realise the stuff the ancient Egyptians were using was nothing like the modern day concrete we have today. It was like,
what did I just say? I said modern concrete, James. The problem is, James, is you're always so like, oh, I need to correct you. I need to correct you. I said, James, I said, John Smeaton creates the first of what we now know as modern concrete, James. But you're too busy pulling your pants up, being like, well, I need to come here and correct this black woman up here because that's all I'm good for. I feel like I need to correct her all the time because you're always so triggered, James. You've been on my panel 3 times, James. 3 times, James, you've been up. First of all, you thought that you actually knew about Tourette's more than everybody. The second time when you came up, you were so excited that there happened to be a black serial unaliver, one black man. You were so excited. And now again, you're trying to correct me on something I actually have said already. James, you have an inability to listen correctly. We're going to move to the video now so everybody can actually learn a little bit about, guess what? Modern concrete, because that's what I said. This video is going to be about modern concrete. So shut up, James, and be quiet and listen.
Modern concrete deteriorates in 50 to 70 years. But how is it that the concrete of the Romans lasted thousands of years and still stands? It was recently discovered that the Romans used seawater instead of fresh water, but this was not the only secret. A study in 2023 involved a mineral called limestone. When mixed with seawater, limestone causes a hot chemical reaction, leaving undissolved lime particles in the mixture. Once the concrete cracked, rainwater seeped in and hit the lime particles, reactivating the cement and filling the gaps. This enables concrete to repair itself. The production of Roman concrete was also more environmentally friendly, while modern concrete production causes high greenhouse gas emissions.
So you see, modern concrete is not environmentally friendly. So if you actually use those terms, which were actually more, of course, it goes back way further. But what the Romans were using were far economically friendly than what this English guy came up with and patented. Portland cement is not great for the environment. Okay, next question now, guys. Next
Let's ask you a
question.
quick question.
James, no one's bloody interested in anything you have to say. I'm dropping you. Can't be bothered. Right, next question. What were the names of the famines the British Empire created and exacerbated? So we've got some few names of which famines. Come up with the names of the famines, guys. So Holly J, do you know the names of any of the famines that were created by the British Empire and exacerbated? Holly? Holly is not there. Holly there. Neil, we're going to move to you. Neil.
Hello.
Do you know the names of any of the famines?
Yeah, well, I know one. It's the Bangladeshi famine. And hopefully that's the only one, because the only one is bad enough. There's 4 million people. And but I imagine there's probably more.
Yeah. Thank you, Neil. Okay, brown-eyed Cypriot gal, do you have an answer for me, please?
Oh gosh, I know that there's many. But the Great Bengal famine is the most famous. I'm sure there must be some more in like India mostly, but I can't give you any more than that. Sorry, my love.
Okay, thank you so much, brown-eyed Cypriot gal. Hugh, do you have an answer, please?
As Brits, we kind of have a monopoly over creating famines across the world. So we did, which is not great, guys, not great. But there was the Irish, and then I think there was 4 in India, and then wasn't there one in China, and also one in Egypt?
Okay, thank you, Hugh. Okay, so there were many, as you guys have said. Many. I didn't pick up Egypt and China, so probably there was in Egypt and China. But what I have written down is many in India. So, of course, a lot of you guys know the Bengal famine, but did you know there were 2 Bengal famines? The one you guys are thinking of is the 1943 Bengal famine under Churchill. But there was already one in the 1700s, in 1770. So in Bengal alone, the deaths estimated between 4 and 13 million people in Bengal alone. Okay, up to 13 million people. This is all under the British Empire, by the way. All of these famines I'm going to tell you are because of the British. 13 million people gone. There was also the Chalisa famine, 11 million gone. The Skull famine, 11 million gone. The Agra famine, 800,000 people gone. Upper Doab, 2 million gone. Orissa famine, 1 million gone. Oh, sorry, 1 million gone, sorry. The Raputana famine, 1.5 million gone. The Great Famine, 6 to 10 million gone. And 2 Indian famines. One was 1896 to 1897, and the other one was 1899 to 1900, which actually spanned various parts of India. During those famines, India lost between 15 and 26 million people. Then there was the Great Famine in Ireland, of course, as you guys know, in 1845 to 1852. Now, there were famines in India, but after British presence, they became incredibly severe. Churchill was very racist, as we know, towards the Indian people, saying that Indian people were breeding like rabbits. He was surprised that Gandhi survived. He was not interested in saving any Indian people. As we know, he was hoarding food from India and sending it to the UK. The British did not give a crap about Indian people there at all. Hugh, you got something to add?
Would you admit, though, that, like you said, Britain, I know Bob Geldof wasn't English, he was Irish, but he was British, helped with the Ethiopian famine, though, and raised over 100 million for them, which...
Oh, wow! Wow!
No.
No, I've got a problem with that. Sorry.
Does that sound like an appropriate compensation that this Irish man had to create a charity, not a case of British people or the British government having a moral compass and be like, you know what, guys, we shouldn't have stolen that shit from them. Let's let this one Irish man who had actually some humanity raise money. So any one of us, right, who actually raises money for another charity, we need to just ignore what big governments do. Is that what you're saying, Hugh?
Not at all, but as a British person, I feel like he added value and achieved something with that. So a British person.
I like the way that you're saying, I love the way there that you're saying British, even though he's Irish, right? He's Irish.
Okay,
That's very
we can jump into
than
English
talking
people
about
if you
the
want.
British Empire. Hugh, you're kind of clutching there. You're kind of clutching.
Can I just quickly say something?
Go on.
Right, you guys create a problem. Like, I mean, I wasn't even aware of how many millions is that in total? Is that 30, 40, 50 million? And then you guys create a problem, and then years later, you go, hey, look, we made a song. They fed you people. Give over.
Yeah, exactly. That's millions of people. Let's add it up, actually. Yeah, 26. This is 39, 40, 50. About up to 60 million people unalived. And yeah, as Brown-Eyed Cypriot Gal has just said, Bob Geldof
And also
made
fact
a song.
check.
He said, I made a song. Yeah.
Fact check, Bob Geldof is not Irish. He is Irish and not British. So it wasn't it. He weren't even a Brit. It wasn't even a Brit that came and saved the Ethiopians. Oh well.
He was a Brit because he was
can't claim that one.
He's not a Brit.
He was born before the Good
Irish.
Friday Agreement, which makes him British.
He's an mate. Google's free. I'll give you Google.
Look at these people clutching. You look at these people clutching. You know how they pick and choose. Like I'm British too. I'm British too. All of us here are British, though. You. All of us. You gotta be so clutching to be like, yeah, no, he's actually an Irish guy. He's an Irish guy. Yeah, clutching. Okay, so now it's video time, guys. Let's have the reality behind the Bengal famine, because of course that's the one that you guys know the most. But as mentioned, there were several. So, okay. Oh, I made this thing smaller. Hold on. Let me just make this bigger again. This silly thing. Here we go. Okay, video time.
In 1943, India didn't run out of food. It was taken. The Bengal famine of 1943 wasn't caused by drought. It was caused by decisions. Under British rule, India's grain was diverted to feed Allied troops in World War II. Crops were hoarded, prices soared, and rice kept leaving Bengal, even as people were collapsing in the streets. Entire villages vanished. Parents sold their children for food. Some even ate grass to survive. Over 3 million people died, without a single bomb fall. Winston Churchill blamed Indians and refused to send aid. He called them breeding like rabbits. But the truth? It was never a famine. It was a policy. In 1943...
So, you see, and, you know, there is an incredible way one's mind must work if they are literally being told that people are dying in the streets and there is no empathy towards that, no understanding, no reason, or no attempts to actually save people. Winston Churchill was very self-centered and very in his mind that he did not give a shit about the people there. And it was, of course, a legacy that was already being built by the British Empire by being there for 200 years. 200 years of absolute disgusting disrespect for the Indian people. Completely just did not see them as human. And this is part of the problem with the British Empire and the British. They didn't see anybody as human. They saw them as commodities. And the interesting thing is that the British Empire and British government still sees English, Welsh, Irish, Scottish people as commodities. And you guys don't see it still. You don't see it. You still uphold the British Empire and Britain and think it's great. But you are a commodity. You are here to be used by the British Empire. You're here to be molded, manipulated, controlled, worked to the goddamn bone. For what? for nothing. You don't own anything. Mortgages, you have to get your high credit card bills. You don't own your cars. You have to finance everything. Sixth richest country. Sixth richest country. And you still try to say it's an amazing place. They did a number on you. They did a number on you. Wake up and realize that all of this trillions that they stole throughout the world should be in your pockets. But it's not. It's not. And the immigrants now are doing better than you. What a kick in the teeth. What a kick in the teeth. Okay, so next question, guys. We're on question 8, and then we've got 2 more questions after. So, which country was the first to end their participation in the transatlantic slave trade? Which country was the first to end their participation in the transatlantic slave trade? Neil, do you have an answer, please?
Okay, I know it's going to be wrong. I thought it was us. I thought it was Britain, Great Britain.
Have you got any other guesses you want to guess?
I don't know too much about the African countries at the times, but I could imagine some of them pulled out earlier and went, we don't want to do this, and we just went, no, you're going to. So yeah, that's all I know from education is we banned it, right. But it was us who did it. So yeah.
Thank you, Neil. Okay, Brana Cypriot Gal, do you have an answer? Which country was the first to end their participation in the transatlantic slave trade?
Wasn't it the Danes? I think it might have been the Danes that first. It was like Scandinavians or something. I'm sure. I don't think it was the Brits. I'm going to just guess the Danes.
Okay, thank you so much. Hugh, do you have an answer, please?
Denmark was the first to pass the law banning slave trading.
Okay, thank you so much. So the answer, guys, is Denmark, Norway. That's right. It is the Scandinavian countries. They were the first ones to withdraw their participation in the transatlantic slave trade. So we also know that, of course, that Britain loved to say that they ended slavery. They loved to say they ended it. Britain took a long time to bloody end it. But where did they end it? In British colonies only. And what's a colony, guys? Places where they had their empire, where they raped, where they had theft, murder, and paedophilia. So they ended it only in the places they'd enslaved people already, right? That's what they did. They didn't go all the way around the world and say, hey, guys, we need to stop slavery to other European countries. Because, you know, the Portuguese were the ones who actually came up with the idea of the transatlantic slave trade. You didn't go to the Portuguese and be like, hey, guys, you know what? This is bad. Maybe we should wake up and realize that this is morally wrong, what we're doing. Because, and let's be very clear, the British introduced chattel slavery. Slavery that existed throughout the world and in many different places, and in Africa, was slavery for debt, for war criminals, for being a prostitute, and it was indentured servitude, which required just doing a bit of manual labor or working in the fields or cleaning a master's house. The British used chattel slavery, which means they did not see enslaved people as humans. They beat them, they raped them, they gave them no break. They had no rights. They didn't treat them like human beings. And even after they abolished slavery, because they realized they didn't have any labor anymore, they kept people enslaved, because when slavery was banned, it was still not made illegal till another 20 years later. And so they turned people into breeders. They forced enslaved people to have children. So then the children were still being born to these white masters. And then what did Britain do? Because they were realizing again that, you know, we need to end slavery because there's too many uprisings and it's not profitable anymore, because the British were the most profitable from the transatlantic slave trade. So of course it was not out of their goodness of their heart. They realized capitalism Capitalism is a thing that we can now use. Yeah. And like I say, English people, you don't realize that you are slaves without metal shackles. You have mental shackles to your country. You are enslaved to your country. You get jealous when people can leave. You get jealous when people can leave. What's that, Hugh?
The glass ceiling is real, guys. Break free.
Break free. Tell your people, Hugh. Tell your people. It's not my people. Tell your people. So we've got some videos now. Okay, so this is about how, despite slavery being illegal and banned and stuff, how it was still going on. It was still going on.
He grows up enslaved in a house in Greenwich, but when he grows up, he runs away and becomes like an actual paid. So on that video about Ignatius Sancho, I got a couple of comments like this, saying that he couldn't have been enslaved in Greenwich because slavery was illegal. This is actually a fairly common misconception in Britain, so let's debunk it. What is true is that Britain has a very early abolition movement back in the 11th century led by this guy, Bishop Wulfstan. And because of that abolition movement, the slave trade died out in Britain for centuries. However, by the 18th century, the time of the transatlantic slave trade, this is no longer being enforced. We know this partly from accounts of actual enslaved people like Phyllis Wheatley and James Somerset and Mary Prince, all of whom spend at least some time enslaved to white families in London. We also know it was happening because when enslaved people ran away, their owners in Britain put lost and found notices in the newspapers. There are hundreds of these in newspaper archives all over Britain, and the owners clearly aren't worried about any legal consequences because they're putting their real names and addresses on them. Their family portraits include black people wearing collars. What is true is that we can't grow sugar or cotton in the British Isles, so we don't have plantations here. Most of these people would have been domestic servants. He grows up.
So you see, there was still slavery going on in Britain. And as we know, or some of you might know this story.
A woman guilty of keeping a slave for 25 years has been sentenced to 13 years in jail.
Get the away. No, she's quite, what's the name for it? Reclusive.
Mandy Wixon forced a vulnerable woman to clean her home, kept her captive, and made her live off scraps. The court heard that in 1996, when the woman was 16, her family passed her into the care of Wixon, who was loosely connected to them in Tewkesbury, Gloucestershire.
Just because I just need to have a look, just because a concern has been reported to us by some unknown party. So we just need to do our due diligence, really, just to make sure everything's okay.
Okay.
Absolutely filthy bedding. Over the next 2 decades, she was abused, including having her head shaved, being beaten so badly her teeth were knocked out, and splashed with bleach. And the prosecution believes she also claimed benefits on the woman's behalf, amounting to over £100,000. It was not reported to police until 2021, when one of Wixon's 10 children raised concerns.
You're under arrest on suspicion of neglect.
Wixon has expressed no remorse.
Our victim has lost, like you say, a quarter of a century of their life, the prime of their life. They've got vulnerabilities, they've got needs that they need to look after. They've been absolutely neglected this entire time and treated in such a poor way. Only a wicked person could treat another human being in that way.
Since being rescued, her victim is now living with a foster family, attending college, and has even gone on holiday.
She is doing much better. She has got a caring environment around her, but this is going to cause her significant trauma, probably for the rest of her life.
So absolutely tragic. Absolutely tragic. And that is the case that we know about. I will tell you something a little bit personal shortly. Let me just quiet my dog. I will be back. If you guys want to communicate on the panel, you're more than welcome to do so while I just sort my dog.
Hi, Brown. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm fab, thank you. Hi, Neil. How are you?
Hello, Neil.
Very well, thank you. Just smoking out the window.
Smoky's happy.
Where are you guys all from, then?
I'm London, but I'm a Cypriot. First gen British Cypriot. My parents from Cyprus.
Congratulations. Lovely. Very pretty country.
It's gorgeous.
With some incredible food, I must say. I've got a Cyprian friend, and it's always good. Yeah. It's always good.
Our food is good. It's not the same as, it's similar to Greek, but I think Cypriot food is so much nicer because it's got I don't know, a lot of influence from the Middle East and from Turkey. So he kind of used different spices and a little bit more interesting.
There's one thing English people have not achieved yet is the use of spices.
Well, what did the Brits go to obtain
story, isn't
spices?
it? Went around the world because our food was so bad. We went around the world just terrorizing everyone for just a bit of pepper.
Exactly. Just for a bit, just to make your food interesting. You guys kind of went a little bit, you know.
Can you imagine?
On a rampage.
Okay, thank you so much for filling in the gap there. I think we're still going to have a little bit of dog barking in the background because my dog realizes that the tricks I play on him, he's too smart now. He's too smart of a dog. I say, come here, come and get some treats. I put them down and he's like, oh, I'm not coming because it means I'll go inside. So he's too clever. He's too clever. So we have to just deal with the dog barking in the background. Okay, so question 9, guys. Okay, thank you so much. Question 9. Who was the main abolitionist responsible for ending British participation in the transatlantic slave trade? Who was the main abolitionist responsible? The main one. Who? Neil, do you have an idea?
I can't remember the guy's name, but I can see pictures of him in my head. But he was like... as far as I know, this guy that I'm picturing might have been a Quaker. It was a Christian sort of abolitionist. But I can't remember his name. But the statues of him and stuff.
Neil? Okay, thank you, Neil. Brown-eyed Cypriot gal.
I was going to say Quaker as well. But I don't know the name. I'm sorry. So I'm going to say someone in the Quaker, in the Quaker kind of community. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Brown-eyed Cypriot gal. Hugh, do you have any answer?
Did you ask, like, in England?
Yeah, this person actually was in Britain at the time.
So, thank God, guys, I studied politics.
They were a bit kind of international, I have to say.
It was William Wilberforce. He was the guy who led the campaign for ending slavery in England.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, so do you guys have any answers in the chat? Yeah, you said Wilberforce. I think that's the only name we kind of had here. We had Frederick Douglass, which he wasn't. That was somebody else. But the answer actually is, and maybe I should have been a little bit more clear on what I was asking. The answer is Oluda Equiano, who is a freed enslaved man from Nigeria who came to Britain. And I will explain why.
He didn't have any legislation, though. He just wrote about his experiences.
You're going to be educated now, Hugh. You're going to be educated now,
I look
Hugh.
forward to it.
Yes, and that's what you're here to learn. Right.
They don't teach you this in school. The man who helped end Britain's slave trade in 1807, he was black. His name was Olaudah Equiano. March 25th, 1807. British Parliament abolishes the transatlantic slave trade after 20 years of brutal campaigning. According to historical records, from 1662 to 1807, British ships transported 3.4 million Africans. Only 2.9 million survived the journey. But here's what your textbook skipped. Equiano's 1789 autobiography became a bestseller. 9 editions. He traveled Britain, speaking, organizing, proving to white audiences that enslaved people were human. Thomas Clarkson rode 35,000 miles on horseback gathering evidence. William Wilberforce introduced the bill every single year for 18 years in Parliament. Rejected, rejected, rejected. But it was Equiano and other black abolitionists in the Sons of Africa who gave this movement its moral authority. The law passed. Not because Britain suddenly grew a conscience, but because black voices refused to be silenced and white allies finally listened. Drop a comment. What's one fact from history class you later learned was incomplete? Let's talk about what they're still not teaching us. And if this opened your eyes, share this. Your circle needs to know the real story. They don't teach you this in school.
So you were aware of the book. Oh, yeah. You're aware of the book, Hugh. But the book is the reason why there was so much outrage. This book became a bestseller. It actually became the reason why white people started to look at black people as human again. Because as I said, they had completely dehumanized us. We were seen as commodities. And the fact that William Wilberforce had the bill rejected 11 times in Parliament already. He was, of course, doing the fighting and doing his activism for 20 years. But it was only until the book and the fact that Olodawa was fighting so hard with the Sons of Africa that other people started to read the book and be like, shit, this is actually something we need to stop doing. Plus, with the fact of the Haitian Revolution, like I said earlier as well, the slave uprisings, owners getting unalived, and the fact that it was unprofitable. And yes, the Quakers were involved as well, by the way. So Neil and Bernard Cypriot, you're right. The Quakers also did have a very, very big, impact. But let me be clear, the British public, there was a petition to end slavery. William Wilberforce, I think perhaps was behind this petition. I can't quite remember, but it was only 390,000 people that signed that petition to end slavery, by the way, in Britain. 390,000.
But William Wilberforce was the person who brought it forward before the book was even written.
Did you hear what I said, Hugh? I said he was fighting for 20 years. The video even said he was fighting for 20 years. I said that. The video said that. I said that. I said exactly. The book so is what pushed me over.
Person to bring it forward.
Come on. You're arguing the same point, Hugh. I've just said twice now. He was fighting already. Did I say that William Wilberforce was a bad guy, that he didn't do anything, that he didn't bring it to Parliament? William Wilberforce was in Parliament. He was a parliamentary person. Hugh, listen. Listen. He got rejected 11 times, Hugh. 11 times. It was only until the book was released by Olodawa Equiano and the abolitionists of Sons of Africa did everybody else start to realize maybe we should actually abolish this. Do you understand now, Hugh?
I understand what you're trying to say, but I think you're incorrect.
God. See, this is the issue, right? Okay, we have been taught history. I have never even heard of this gentleman's name before, and I consider myself quite informed. And I'm learning things today, and I'm kind of like taking it in and saying, right, educated. Like, every day's a school day. But these people cannot let their ego go and be like, hang on a minute, black and brown people may have been behind some positive things. It's like the white saviour complex.
He was fundamental in the change, but William Wilberforce was the person who brought it forward first. That's all I'm trying to say, which we are all in agreement.
Yeah, but you see what happens, guys. So you see what happens. Hugh feels like he needs to add his white voice to this, because I just said, like Bernard Cypriot Gala said, is that there's a black person here that I just said also is responsible. And as I said, there was constant slave uprisings. But because there's going to be a black person taking a little bit of credit, Hugh was like, William Wilberforce, even though I said William Wilberforce was also a part of it. Of course he was. But Hugh has to just say, I just need to emphasize it was a white man. I just need to emphasize that it was a white guy, because guess what? At this time, Britain was majority white, and so they had white government and white parliaments. Who else is going to pass it, Hugh? Who else is going to pass the bill? A black person. You see a black person back then in the UK in Parliament. Did you see that happening, Hugh? A black person going to be, or a brown person in Parliament? Do you think at that time the UK was not racist, so that they were actually listening to black and brown people, Hugh? Do you think that?
Who knows? I wasn't alive.
No, you do know, because Dawn Butler, I think, was the first black. Am I thinking the right? It was not Dawn Butler. Sorry, Diane Abbott is the first black politician in Britain. No. So how
Absolutely.
are you thinking in the 1800s, that there's going to be black politicians to be able to push this through, when the UK, not the UK, the English, the Anglo-Saxon, was founded upon racism, Hugh?
That's crazy.
Hugh is on mute. Hugh is on mute. Aidan, welcome to the panel, by the way. We haven't even got to see you yet, but we're going to go to I think this is the last question now. Yes, it's the last question, guys. And then we're going to finish up. So, question 10. How much stolen wealth have the English been living off of? Okay, so you guys, I think you're very aware. It's 1 minute, Aidan, we go in order. So how much stolen wealth, hello, darling, have the English been living off of? It's trillions. So if I can have the number in dollars, please. What are you guys guessing in the chat? Neil, do you have an idea of how many trillions have been stolen by the English, please, under the British Empire?
God. I do know that Clive of India made this obnoxious comment about, if you'd have seen the wealth that I didn't take, you'd have considered me modest or something, you know, and he'd ransacked the treasuries of India. And but if you consider slavery, if you consider natural wealth and just overarching, like capitalism on those countries where you just scoop off everything and leave nothing, the mind fucking boggles. And
so do you have a number guess, Neil?
I don't have a grasp on economics like that. So, but just like the wealth of civilizations, and not just one, a few. You know, we robbed off. So,
okay, all right. Thank you so much, Neil. Bernard Cypriot Gal, do you have a guess for a number and how many trillions?
God, how many trillions in dollars? Oh,
yeah.
Gosh. I don't know, 100 trillion? 100 trillion is my guess.
Okay, thank you, Bernard Cypriot Gal, thank you. Hugh, do you have an answer? How many trillions of stolen wealth the English have been living off of? Hugh? Is Hugh still with us, or has he disappeared into the void of sadness?
1 moment, ask Aidan first. I'm just talking to someone.
Oh, are you Googling the answer? Aidan, yes, do you have an answer as to what the answer might be, Aidan? How many trillions?
From just India, or their whole 70 colonies?
The whole shebang, the whole thing. How much stolen wealth
Probably
have
like
been lived?
47, maybe 50 trillion.
47 to 50 trillion. Okay. I don't know if you guys have put any answers in the chat.
I've got to work out. I was being spoken to about my outfit for a charity event I'm attending tonight.
Nobody cares, Hugh. Nobody cares. What's your answer?
English. I actually don't know the entire figure, because we only study India's supposed reparations that they deserve, which is kind of well above 40 trillion.
Can you just give a number, Hugh? Like, literally. What's with the two guys up here, the two English guys, Neil and Hugh? Like, just pick a number, man.
I just gave you a number, 40 trillion. But I really must go, but I would just like to leave you.
Thank you. Well, that's it. Mute. Okay, because we're all getting tired here. We've been on here for a long time. The answer, guys, the answer is 68 trillion. Okay. The answer is 68 trillion. Okay, so the UK is the 6th richest country.
Guys, ciao.
Hi.
Hugh is crying, getting muted. Good night, goodbye.
W.
Really, how's that even possible? How's that even possible? So the UK is the 6th richest country, right? So they stole $68 trillion. But what's the GDP of the UK? 3.96 trillion. How could that be? If you steal 68 trillion and your GDP is 3.96 trillion, something must have gone wrong, right, guys? Something must have gone wrong. So now I'm going to show you the 10 countries, or the top 10 countries, because if you do know or don't know that the UK, the British Empire, Britain, invaded 171 countries, okay? 171. And they did all kinds of nonsense as they went. But now, this is where Britain had stolen its wealth.
The British Empire stole over $68 trillion from its former colonies across the world, but which countries did they loot the most? We begin at the 10th place with Ghana, robbed of its gold and cocoa worth around $120 billion. At 9th place, it's Ireland, costing the Irish people nearly $240 billion. In 8th, we find Kenya, where fertile lands were seized and coffee and tea exports drained, totaling about $250 billion. At 7th place comes Australia, built on stolen indigenous land, minerals, and wages, adding up to $300 billion. Ranked 6th is Egypt, controlled for the Suez Canal and cotton, stripped of close to $500 billion. At 5th place, Nigeria, rich in palm oil, cocoa, and oil, bled of nearly $700 billion. In 4th, British Malaya, whose tin and rubber fueled Britain's industries worth over $1 trillion. At 3rd place, South Africa, losing more than $1 trillion. Coming in at 2nd, the Caribbean, where slavery on sugar plantations generated a staggering $9 trillion. And at number 1, the crown jewel, India, stripped of an unbelievable $55 trillion. Did you know the British Empire?
So guys, you see that number is actually slightly higher than what they actually predicted. What they said it's 45, the video said 55. They're at varying degrees. And I think I've even seen estimates up to $65 million as well from India alone. India alone. So of course, which would put the 68 million figure up higher. Mongolian Empire did not do nearly the same, Dan. You missed the whole quiz. You would have been a lot more educated, Dan, but you're not. The Mongolian Empire didn't do anywhere near the same. It really didn't. British people, English people, you don't actually understand the depths of colonization. You don't understand the depths of the way that you spread your ideology. You talking about now, oh, Muslim people were spreading their ideology. You spread your ideology. The fact we all speak English here is an ideology. The fact that so many people became Christian is an ideology. The fact that we've had to go to your country to earn our livings back because you won't return the ship that you stole is an ideology. You need to stop projecting. You need to stop projecting, really and truly. And on that note, guys, we have come to the end of the quiz. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming by. It was so interesting to see the English people in the beginning come up, but of course they crashed out. They couldn't handle being up on the panel for a very long time because their emotions were getting too much for them.
I'm English. Well, I suppose I'm English.
Neil,
I always consider myself British. Well, yeah, no, I learned a lot. I enjoyed the quiz. Thank you.
Neil,
thank you so much for the compliment. Thank you so much. Aidan, I did see you talking some shit down there in Aidan in the chat, but you're up here on the panel and you've joined the quiz. So how did you find the quiz, Aidan?
I don't know, bro. I'm not even British, bro.
So why are you booing then?
I don't know. I'm just here, bro.
Okay, you're just bored on a Friday. Okay, yeah. Interesting stuff. Thank you so much, mods, for being here. Thank you so much for dealing with the problems in the chat, also for providing your answers, for looking out for this to make sure that the space is always safe and protected. Thank you so much for even the racists that come by, because I love it when you expose yourselves for the losers that you are. I love it. Thank you so much. For those of you who actually stayed and you wanted to learn something, you learned a lot of stuff here. So it's so important to decolonize. That's what we're here for, decolonization. We really must do it. We need to stop upholding the lie of the British Empire. We need to stop pretending as if racism doesn't happen, that all of this stuff that has happened to the world has not affected us when it clearly has. It's important for us.
The funny
Thank
thing,
you so much for being here.
the funny thing for me is, as a white British person, is that all this huge theft and crime went on all over the world, and then the working class white man in the First World War had rickets, and they thought we couldn't raise an army. Do you know what I mean?
Bingo.
So all this went on, and who fucking robbed it? They're still there. They're still there, and they're still telling us that it's the Muslims, it's the black people or whatever. And it's like, it's you lot, you bastards.
It's a generations, of submissiveness, of not questioning their leaders. And this is why I keep saying to English people that they're enslaved and they don't understand it. Like singing the national anthem. One of my videos is an old video. It seems to be getting traction again, where I talk about English people being slaves when they sing the national anthem, about upholding the king who they've never met and doesn't give a shit about them. And they're like, but we love the king. We love the king. You love this man sitting in his ivory tower. He's doing nothing for you. Like nothing.
Right, it's crazy. I went to Exeter University for a while, and the Queen came and opened something, and the people lining up, there was just people and people lining up, and I was like, do you not know who you're waving a flag at? Like, what a monstrous organisation you're going. Yay! It's just crazy.
That's the thing though, Neil. It's because they've got nothing, literally nothing. This is some kind of entertainment, or it makes them feel special and important, because royal families, of course, are a dying breed, right? Thank you, Branagh, Cypriot girl. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much for everything.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. He said, do you think most English people respect the monarchy? Too many people do. Unfortunately, in polls and popularity, the royal family has still been proved popular, but it is going down. It is going down. People are actually understanding now what I'm talking about, but not enough understanding what I'm talking about. Because again, as I've just said, I get so many English people on my page kissing the arse of the adulterer, kissing the arse of the PDF file. Kissing the arse of these rich thieves.
I mean,
they have no clue what they're doing.
For like white working class history, and you talk about, like, I'm from Liverpool. You talk about what Churchill did, which is monstrous elsewhere, but he turned the army on us in Liverpool. He turned the army on the working class. He was not a friend of the people. He was an empire builder, full and solid. And so, compared to Hitler, I suppose he kept our domination, but what's that worth,
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing, is like the whole thing about class in the UK. I don't think people seem to be understanding it anymore, because of course the working class British person is the person who's in the picture behind, right? They've been so disenfranchised and they've been so hard done by that, again, like I always say, is all they have is racism and poverty. That's all they have left. They are a dying generation of people that have no longevity. And it is sad that they don't even have the patience now to actually understand where things went wrong. It's easier for them to just be like, immigrants are the reason for my problem, and Islam. And like, it's sad, and it's really pathetic. It really is so pathetic. But the fact of the matter is that working class forgot who they actually were. They've forgotten who they are as people, because they used to stand up against the establishment. They used to actually protest correctly, the poll tax riots. They used to do all these things. They used to go down the pub and talk about, things. Look at what's his name, Arthur Scargill days, the miners' strike. They used to do actually things like that. Now look at their pathetic reason for the strike. Let's go for a walk in the town on a Saturday and say it's a strike, and then let's all go and get chicken bolties after. We've all protested about how much we hate black and brown people, but we're going to go and eat their international food after. They've got no bloody clue what they're doing. They've got no clue.
Yeah, it's really, it's a difficult thing. And if you look back, there's positive things that working class people did. So there was a point where the Manchester cotton mills, they refused to use slave cotton, you know, and there's things like that, real bright points where you go, that's proper solidarity with other human beings. You're going, no, I don't care if we're going to starve, we're not using slave cotton anymore. Obviously, it got broken. Those are the things we should be proud of. And but we're not really taught those things, you know, so...
No. But the problem is as well is that, I mean, I bring up this example quite often as well, is that especially on TikTok, is that English people are more happier, quote unquote, in the spaces where it is rage bait. I don't know if you hear when that Holly said that this is rage bait, like they don't seem to actually recognize what is actual rage bait. It is the conversations that get them to be more misunderstanding of what the problems are in the country and where the problems have come from. So they'll go to these spaces to be completely enraged because they're just talking about the same things. Oh, we need to put up our flag, and oh, immigrants, and oh, Islam, and oh, Shakira law, and you know, that's all they keep talking about. They're not talking about building up their communities. They're not talking about actually going to the government and asking for funding. Like, I saw a video just yesterday or the day before about how Sadiq Khan has said that youth groups, which I've known since I was a kid, I'm 42 now, I've known since I was a teenager that youth groups were shutting down because they were shutting down when I was a child. Now, Sadiq Khan has said, yeah, okay, I'm going to fund millions or whatever it is into so many youth groups. All of the white people are like, oh, it's so now you can have more grooming gangs and just like the desperation.
It's crazy stuff. But is it born out of jealousy? So, like, if you go, London's not particularly, you know, was it 45%, 50% white? So is it just that, because you're on something like London's always been well funded, and compared to the, you know, especially talking up north and stuff like that, there's older things going on, and now they're turning us against each other, and it's easy to do because we have different skin color or a different religion. And you know, I don't know, man.
To understand the manipulation, and unfortunately, they're not. They're not. So right, okay, I'm going to end it.
Ridiculous.
I was going to end it. I'm going to end it because I'm tired.
Right.
In my time zone, I'm in a different time zone. I'm not in the UK, so I'm like really tired now. Yeah, no, I left the island of misery 4 years ago, so I'm not in the UK. But thank you so much for staying here now, Neil. You were almost here from the beginning as well, so thank you.
Yeah,
guys.
I really enjoyed it.
Asking about the puppy's name. Her name is Sky. So this is Sky. Say
hi, Sky.
This is Sky. Yeah, my baby girl. Thank you so much. Yucky. Ugh. Yucky.
I really liked the quiz, by the way. I learned lots of stuff. So
I'm glad you did. Thank you so much. I do. Oh yeah. So I do, of course, upload these guys. So for some of you who are new here, I do upload them. The link is in my bio. So it's also on YouTube, and also you can listen in your ear through RSS. Thank you so much, everybody. And I will be back on again next week, probably Monday. All right. See you later, guys. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Thank you, mods, as always.